There is no act more harmful to the public's ability to handle its affairs than to lie and pass it off as truth. CBS crosses a line when its production reaches the point of so transforming an interviewee's answer that it is fundamentally a different answer. CBS cannot do that, and so the FCC had a policy against news distortion for over 50 years. Election interference continues domestically with our news agencies heavily involved. We saw that bizarre interview with CBS and Kamala Harris where they spliced and diced and edited out her answers to make her look marginally competent. But now we see that they are getting hit with an FCC complaint, and it came out from American Rights, and the complaint is now published for all of us to see, and it is against CBS. And so here's what it looks like, saying that rigging or slanting the news is a most heinous act against public interest. There is no act more harmful to the public's ability to handle its affairs than to lie and pass it off as truth. In all cases where we may appropriately do so, we shall act to protect the public interest in this important respect. Quoting another case from 1969, CBS should take that responsibility seriously. Quoting another case, they say broadcasters are public trustees, licensed to operate in the public interest, and as such may not engage in intentional falsification or suppression of the news. The FCC endeavors to balance the obligation to operate in the public interest against the licensee and their editorial judgment. And so we investigate whether this is a problem here. Has CBS deliberately altered a news report in order to improperly maneuver that balance? Of course they have. Here's the complaint. They say this complaint concerns an act of significant and substantial news alteration. It was made in the middle of a heated presidential campaign. And moreover, in this instance, we have a clear external evidence that there were outtakes necessary for this commission to act. CBS News aired Sunday CBS morning news show called Face the Nation on Sunday, October 5th. It also aired a CBS program called 60 Minutes on Monday, October 6th. The two programs featured the same question asked to Kamala Harris. However, there were two completely different answers. Weird. On Face the Nation, they play an excerpt, answer A. The next day, they released the full program on 60 Minutes, answer B. Not the same. In the first clip, CBS journalist Bill Whitaker asked Kamala about Benjamin Netanyahu from Israel. Says, but it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening. Now, in that first clip, Harris says, well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region. I don't know what the hell that means, but she said that. Now, in the second clip, so that's version A. Version B, in the second clip, Whitaker asks the same exact question. Says, but it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening, Kamala. We are not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end. Well, that sounds a little bit more capable. Yeah. Versus, well, Bill, the work we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region. Which I think she's trying to say that, like, we encourage them to do things, or like, I think she's saying, like, we have impact here. Now, we're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end. All right. So also kind of a rough statement there, but I guess it's more unequivocal. Like, we're ending this. This is a little bit more equivocal. So same interview, same question, two completely different answers. Whoa! Under this commission's long-standing precedent, CBS retains the right to exercise news judgment when editing its material. And that kind of editing is normal in the context of news magazine style shows like 60 Minutes. Like, of course you edit stuff. We see it all the time. However, CBS crosses a line when its production reaches the point of so transforming an interviewee's answer that it is fundamentally a different answer. CBS cannot do that in this case, which was back in 1971. That is on point. So look at that case. That's our authority. Just like that case here, CBS has taken a single question and transformed Harris's answers such that the general public no longer has any confidence as to what Kamala actually said in response to the question. No idea. And moreover, CBS has refused to provide the complete transcript of the show, despite numerous requests and precedent for it doing so on high-profile interviews. Release the tapes. This has led journalist Molly Hemingway, shout out to Molly, we love Molly. The fact that CBS 60 Minutes is refusing to release the full, unedited transcript of its interview with Kamala is a huge scandal. It suggests that much of this entire finished product was manipulative and deceitful, and not just one horrible example that was discovered. So they say, strong and and prompt action by the commission is necessary to restore public confidence in this and to clarify this matter. It's a matter of national interest and importance. We're in the middle of an election. They say, well, CBS violated the law. News distortion is incorporated in the public interest standard for broadcasters. It says to violate the news distortion policy, the distortion must be about a significant matter and not merely something trivial or incidental. Obviously, this is incredibly consequential. Kamala was talking about U.S. foreign policy about the Middle East in the middle of a war, and the timing is significant because it was weeks before a presidential election and with a candidate who has sat for very few news interviews. Now, the complainant here is not asking the commission to censor CBS News or to invade their free speech at all. The Supreme Court has squarely held that the commission does not transgress the law by reviewing their past conduct under the public interest standard, but instead the court has held that you, the FCC, you act appropriately and you execute Congress's desire when you assure that the public receives a balanced presentation of information that is relevant to public importance. It requires periodic accountability on the people who are entrusted with the use of the broadcast frequencies, right? Limited, they're scarce frequencies. There's not an unlimited number of them. So we give them and license them to certain people to use. Here, accountability is necessary when the public is disserved by the news distortion. And so they say, here's what we want you to do, FCC. Direct CBS News to release the transcript of Kamala's interview with 60 Minutes so we can see what she said. The need for the commission's action is strengthened by CBS News and their refusal thus far to release the transcript, which it has done in similar interviews in the past. The directive to first approach the station or the sponsor for resolution of news distortion claims has already proven inadequate. Okay, so you will tell us to go talk to them about it. We've already done that. They're not responding. And so the FCC had a policy against news distortion for over 50 years. Here, CBS did exactly that. They engaged in news distortion. They edited its news program to such a great extent that the general public cannot even know what answer Kamala actually gave to a question of great importance on a matter of national security policy. No one knows what actually happened in that interview because CBS is fake news. Signed by Daniel Sewer, Center for American Rights, and they're doing great work over there. They are led by these attorneys, Patrick Hughes, Daniel Sewer, have had other Supreme Court cases, and so you can go check out their website as well. Look them up, Center for American Rights. Bring in this complaint, saying it's not just about one interview or one network, says Daniel Sewer, the president. This is about the public trust in the media. When broadcasters manipulate interviews and distort reality, it undermines democracy itself. The FCC must act swiftly to restore public confidence in our news media. And it's good news there. I think that we know the news is about as fake as it gets in many arenas. And the closer and closer we get to this election, we're just a dozen days away, the pressure cooker on them to deliver something that is going to be damning to Trump and disqualifying is going to increase. And so their shamelessness will continue. And we're bracing for whatever they're going to drop next. We'll be here continuing to see where this complaint goes and continue our coverage. Thank you for subscribing and joining us as we do.